time from probably the busiest night of his summer in his tireless efforts to bring about an end to hunger in Rhode Island is our good friend of the show, Steve Maciel. Steve, welcome to the Coalition. How are you tonight?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
No, you've got let's get right to it. You've only got a few minutes. You've got a really big show tonight here. It's at the Met. It's in the bucket. Tell us a little, first of all, tell us a little bit about tonight's events, because there's plenty of time. Folks, if you're sitting around at home, turn off Netflix, don't even put on a clean t-shirt. It's the Met. It's a great spot to hang. Just head down to the Met, lay out a few shekels to help folks less fortunate than yourselves. Listen to some outstanding music that Steve's going to talk about us, and engage yourself in, I'll call it, the activist community here in Rhode Island. Because while there are many types of us, we are mighty, we are strong, and we are committed to change. And someone who is just tireless is our guest, Steve Maciel. Steve, tell us what's going on tonight. What do you got happening?
We have a very special gig that kind of just fell in our laps at the last moment. We started organizing it at the beginning of August. Mm-hmm. And here we are tonight. It's hard to believe that it's already here, but we have Jen Chapin performing tonight in the Jen Chapin Trio. She's going on at 8 o'clock, and yeah, you were exactly right. If you are so motivated, get off that couch and come on down to some unbelievable original music and socially conscious music. And we are ready to go at 8 o'clock tonight.
And the Met has become such a great venue for this, hasn't it? I mean, if you wanted to talk about and there are great rock bars here in the state, and a lot of them are very involved.
Oh, it is.
But the Met seems to really be the heartbeat, if you will, or becoming the heartbeat of activist Rhode Island, isn't it?
It really is, and it's one of the great all-American bars and rock places. I mean, and it's got to be right up there amongst the top echelon of that type of venue. Mm-hmm. And the folks over there, Rich Lupo and the good folks that run the Met, they have just been supportive of our efforts for almost 30 years now. And very, very excited to be aligned with these folks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a wonderful venue. Folks, if in a nation where there are fewer and fewer joints, a place to, as we used to say, if you're a certain age, i.e. my age, bend your elbow, all right? And at the same time, listen to real rock and roll. And, I was just there a short time ago for the benefit for the great Rudy Cheeks. Full house, packed house, lots of energy, similar kind of vibe tonight, right?
Yes, and I'll tell you, it's a very significant gig. I've been running my 1 of 52 Hunger Network for almost 30 years, and I can kind of give you an overview of what that is. Tony's very familiar with it.
Right.
And we now have a new organization called RI Feeds RI Feeds RI, which is focusing on the abundance of food and how it literally grows out of the ground and anybody can access it. Mm-hmm. And then we have a third organization we're working with. We're forming this coalition called Hunger Down, and they're more focused on the venues and having venues do ongoing food drives. So anytime you go out to see, rock and roll, you can bring some canned goods with you.
Right. Well, let's talk 1 of 52. Let's go through and give us a little snapshot of each of your organizations, and as importantly, because this show will, through the miracle of YouTube and Facebook, live in perpetuity, and we'll be sharing this throughout the fruited plain, if you will, of Rhode Island this week. Where can folks part with a few shekels, and where can folks just send you some do-re-mi?
Well, for tonight's gig, it's $20 a head to get in, and that gives you 2 acts, Jen Chapin Trio from 8 till approximately 9:30, and then the wonderful Chuck Kula is taking the stage after that. He has some special guests with him. He describes himself as the world folk, and he's really been in the trenches as long as I have, and we've joined forces in our quest to create hunger-free communities, and just a wonderful musician and a wonderful guy. A lot of the work that I do is third party. Anybody out there, you're already familiar with the Rhode Island Community Food Bank. Mm-hmm. So, we got some of the proceeds will be going there tonight. We are holding food drive. People can bring non-perishables with them. But whenever anybody asks, I always default to the great work of the Rhode Island Community Food Bank. Mm-hmm. And my 1 of 52 concept, I know in marketing you're supposed to have a name that people can immediately relate to. nobody knows what the heck this is.
Right.
And that's what I love about it. People always say, what the heck is that? The very kind of a simple but powerful concept where we go out and we ask people to take a minimum of one action in 1 week of the year to help end hunger.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty easy on the participation side. You can hold a food drive, you can make a donation. It's a little more heavy duty on the commitment side, because we do ask you to take one action in 1 week annually, so it's a long-term commitment.
Mm-hmm. And now you said you've got two newer, if you will, coalitions that you started. Tell us about those.
Yes, RI Feeds for RI. Their main focus is on community gardens, working a lot with schools, and once again, something that's always been near and dear to my heart. People say to me, "Oh, come on, Maciel, you can't end hunger because food costs money,"
Right.
Which is just a ridiculous argument, because they really working to create this abundance of their own food and victory gardens, and community gardens, and schools. So just an undisputable, undeniable, great direction to go in.
Mm-hmm.
Then the third one was Hunger Down, which grew out of Rhode Island Music Hall of Fame, where they, wanted to align themselves with the cause. And, music and hunger date all the way back to the George Harrison Bangladesh days, all the way up to Live Aid and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So once we started talking about that connection with music and hunger, they were like, let's do it, let's get on board. So they did start their own organization, which is going to focus on, venues like Lupo's and like the Met that are going to have ongoing collection bins at the venues for people to drop off basically anytime they come do a show. So the three unique organizations will all coalesce together, and all kind of serving their own purpose, but all toward that same goal. And we're really trying to change the conversation from ending hunger to creating food security. And hunger can only end in one place, and that place is the community.
Right.
So we need to create food secure communities. And once you bring it down to that level, it's really a very simple thing. Mm-hmm. And in this country, this land of plenty, we throw away 40% of our food in this country. So if we can at least work to create awareness and get that aspect of things under control, which we're all kind of working with other organizations like We Share Hope that will focus on food waste, to me, it's a no-brainer. I mean, hunger in America, come on.
Absolutely. And to me, what's wonderful about your efforts, it speaks to the community in a way that's highly personal. And what I mean by that is there are plenty of folks on the conservative side of the bench who, let's be blunt, my words, not yours, not the guests, but they bitch and moan about government involvement in giveaways, handouts, the welfare state, yada, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so here you have it, folks. Mr. Maciel is bringing to your attention 3 different ways removed from government involvement that speaks directly to your conscience, your pocketbook, your willingness, if you will, and here's my challenge, your willingness to step up aside from the government and actually make a commitment to helping people in need. It's voluntary in nature. And that's what supposedly the conservative community screams for. They talk about how private charity should replace the government. Now, personally, I'm on board with that. But here's the let me just finish. Here's the flip side of that. That means that everyone listening to this who also believes into that has to pony up. All right, time to break out the wallet. Let a few of the moths out for a second. That 20-year-old device that might still be in there from your glory days. All right, and actually, God forbid, you ready for this? Go into your cabinets, find recent vintage non-perishables, or, astonishingly enough, stroke a check.
And Pat, I totally agree with you on that. And a lot of this work we're doing is whether you're left, right, or center, anybody can wrap their minds around it. And we're also, I know I got some big, lofty, ambitious goals here, but we're really trying to move beyond charity. We do have to address the immediate need of people that don't have enough now We have to continue that work. We'll always continue that work. But we also need to reduce the need of why people need charity.
Right.
So that's a whole other show. You can bring me back and we can talk about my concepts of economic development and creating community wealth. And those are things that you will really appreciate.
No, absolutely, and we certainly plan on doing that. Just if you could give us, because I know you have to get back to your event, but just if you could give us a snapshot, because I think folks who are privileged enough, in many cases through their own hard work, but who have found themselves in a life where they are not in need of other people's assistance, how difficult and how challenging is the economic condition for many working Rhode Islanders and folks of lower means? How tough are things out there right now?
Well, it's abysmal. You know, even if you're working a pretty decent job, pretty decent wage, even if you got two wage earners in the family, by the time you get to pay the rent, the utilities, the medicine, the health care, there is just no money left to put food on the table. So these are things people have to pay. I mean, you've got to pay your rent or you're homeless. You've got to have the medicine or you're sick. You know, and people are working hard. So there's a new term that's actually been coined for this, and it's called the working poor. And it's just really a ridiculous situation where, you know, so many of the good jobs in this country have gone and never come back. There's so many service-oriented jobs where people just aren't earning enough money. So, but like I say, by the time it gets time to put food on the table, there's just nothing left.
Right.
So, you know, you got to really, like you said, every once in a while share what's in your cupboard or share with your neighbors so that everybody has something to eat. And I think that's not an unreasonable proposition, and I think we can get there, and I hope that it happens in my lifetime.
Absolutely. Steve, we will, in the next couple of weeks, we will have you on the show for a full hour, talk about all your efforts. Again, this is an effort to publicize the need for folks to come together in a community on a voluntary basis and support organizations which have a proven capacity for delivering in a highly cost-efficient environment goods and services for those in need, absent of government intervention. And at the same time, as Mr. Maciel alluded to, my words, teach folks how to fish, as a, you know, in terms of helping them become more self-supportive. It's an idea that we desperately need here in Rhode Island. How you can help out tonight? Okay, first of all, again, here at the Met in scenic Pawtucket, Rhode Island, in one of the great rock bars in America, in a nation that desperately needs joints, and there seems to be fewer and fewer of them. It seems to be an endangered species, but running well into the evening, some great live music where the proceeds will go to directly to support some wonderful, caring organizations here in Rhode Island. Steve, just give them a place on an ongoing basis where they can find your efforts, a website, a Facebook page. You tell us, and we'll help publicize it.
Yep, easy enough to go on Facebook and search on One of 52 Hunger Network, and it's the number one, the word of, the numbers 52 Hunger Network, and you know, and that's also our website, oneof52.net, and we have a whole host of information on there, a lot of resources, and we're sharing these plans that we're working on that anybody from any walk of life can get involved in very simple ways.
Right. So, of course, just to repeat that, is oneof52.net, or find them on Facebook, but more importantly, head on down to the Met for some great rock and roll tonight, and simultaneously help a few of your fellow Rhode Islanders out. Steve, wonderful job as always. I hope you'll make the coalition kind of your second home, if you will, for getting the word out. But have fun tonight, and you know, let's make a little history, okay?
That's great, man. Thank you, and you hit it right on the head. Great job helping us out. I so appreciate it.
No worries, buddy. Anytime. Folks, oneof52.net, Steve Maciel, a 30-plus year track record in helping fellow Rhode Islanders. Why is he doing it? Because it's simply the right thing to do. And how do we know there's character? Because, quite frankly, he and a whole lot of other committed activists do it when other people aren't watching. Go down to the Met tonight.
Exactly.
You can see the Jen Chapin Trio at Chakula. They're going to be running well into the evening. It's only a $20 cover charge. Have a couple of beers, have a little bit of fun, and help out your fellow Rhode Islanders. Steve, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Perfect. Have a good night.
All right, buddy.
Bye.
So, folks, we're going to take a few minutes here to have just a little bit of a chat in the run-up to the 8 o'clock hour. In the 8 o'clock hour, Again, we sent out the signal to the sky again this week. The third or fourth week in a row, Monique Chartier is going to be joining us in studio. We are going to open up the lines tonight, area code 401-441-6515. We're going to start working on the technology to provide additional user interaction because we are nothing if not user-friendly here on the Coalition. If you're just joining us tonight, earlier on this evening, we had Jason from LEAP. The Law Enforcement Action Partnership can be found at leap.cc, talking about the war on drugs, talking about definitive studies post-legalization in Colorado that prove that no, your children in a state where cannabis is legalized are not going to be turned into drug-crazed zombies. We can guarantee it now. I'm looking right in the eyes. Then, joining me, Steve Maciel, 1052.net, having an event tonight at the Met. Shame on the Coalition for not getting the word out a little earlier. We will be working on that. Folks, if you are involved in a charitable organization, don't mind a tiniest bit of vetting because we want to make sure that it's folks like Steve or folks like the people taking the battle up against Invenergy, that folks, the money that you're raising is actually going where it's supposed to go. We believe strongly in private, non-governmental charities here. Folks, if you have a charitable event coming up, you'd like to come on the air to talk about it, bring it out to Facebook Nation, bring it out to Go Local Live, then reach out to us at coalitionradioshow@gmail.com. coalitionradioshow@gmail.com. Just give us a link to your website or Facebook page. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what event you have coming up, and we'll do our best to spread the word. Private charity is the very best way to help out folks in the community. It's good for those folks that you're helping, but as importantly, it's really good for you because you will feel really great when you go to an event like this. I speak to when I went to the Rudy Cheeks event, the spirit of community that was there and the spirit of community that will be there tonight at the Met Cafe is unparalleled. To lap into 60s speak, which will horrify my production manager, Tony Jones, the vibe, yes, the vibe that you will get. It's almost as good as the buzz from the Narragansett. Right, T? So take a moment, head to the bucket tonight, have some fun, help out